today, and let me put that, got it, and share some of the information that I've received. I have so much I love sharing. I've done a new website that you can go and check out called Creative Life Adventures. And on it, I'm putting some of the stories, some of the techniques, and different things that have happened that based on, like you said, high intuition, and which I'm part of my passion is to get everyone to realize how important your intuition is. I didn't listen to my intuition when I was in the parking garage and a man passed me in the garage who had a guard uniform on, but I saw his eyes and the voice in my head said, run. I argued with the voice. I said, run? Why should I run? I feel tired. I don't want to run. It was after work, about 5:30. And he then had his his arm around my neck and a knife at my throat and started pushing me toward the other door. Now, I believe that the angels helped me because on the floor above, or 4 floors above, there were 2 lawyers getting into an elevator to go up. And one of them, he told me later when I met with him to thank him, he got a message to go across the hallway and get in the elevator going down. And he made the excuse to his friend that, well, we'll go get our uniforms because they were going to play baseball later. There were two lawyers, and they arrived just as this man was about to push me out the door of this small room, and the elevator came down and they saved my life. But he did stab me in the back and my lung collapsed and I thought I was dying. And as I was in that mode of slumping to the floor, somewhere out of my mind came, if I should survive, to God, if I should survive, let me be an instrument of your peace. And I didn't know that St. Francis had said that. And I am grateful to still be here at the age that happened when I was 27. And I am at this point in time, 78. And so It's pretty that I'm not only so much older, which I can't even believe. I feel more like I'm 35, but just a really wonderful thing to survive. So to get to that, what has happened because of all the different things that have happened to me, so many different accidents, my father leaving, just many, many things. I had to learn, I wanted to learn how to handle it because I'm a very sensitive person. So one of the things I want to share first, which is one of the most important that I ever used, is holding the lobes. Right up here at the top of your head on either side are little bumps that kind of raises up at the top of your face on either side. And you take your fingers, I usually take my 3rd finger, my thumb, and hold it there. And what you can do, that is the area that keeps your body organized when you're thinking thoughts that are upsetting. So you've seen in a movie where someone gets bad news and all of a sudden they go like this, oh my God, and you may have done it yourself. That is to keep you from falling down. The body is held by these lobes. So when you're thinking about past memories that are upsetting, things that have happened, things that are happening, something that you see on television that bothers you, etc., hold your lobes. And believe me, even if you're on the phone, right, they're not even noticing you're holding your lobes, right? And it might be in your family or friends that they know that if you're saying something upsetting, or they're saying something upsetting, and you go like this, yeah, this is upsetting to you, okay? And it helps calm you down. All right, so that's one thing to remember. The other is a little bit longer process, but it's fun. So imagine that you are on the top of a cliff. It's a wide area. And this cliff has a very steep, you look over and you see down below, oh my gosh, that's a long way down. Okay, and what you're going to do, you're standing back, you're safe. You're going to put a pane of glass. You can imagine like as big as a sliding glass door. You put a pane of glass sitting on the edge of that cliff. And you have a rose, a beautiful rose. And what you're going to do is you're going to put an upsetting event on that pane of glass, like a video. There it is up there, or just still photo, and you put it up there in full color, and you take the rose, put it down in front of that glass, and let all the color drain into the rose. As the color from that picture is going into the rose is getting bigger and bigger. And then as that clears down, you might just want to imagine that right now. Imagine something that was very upsetting to you. You know, for me, it was, of course, you could say easily that, you know, this guy grabbed me around my neck, and I just drain all that color of that picture into the rose. It's getting bigger and bigger, size of a boulder right now. And then what you're going to do is you see a black and white picture now of the same event on that glass. And what you're going to do is you look down and you can say, okay, I can think about that, but what I'm going to do first, I'm going to take this rose up into the air. It's going to float up into the air, and it blows up. Boom. That's all the emotion. Boom. And in there is lots of little roses, and they all go pop, 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 pop into the air, creating kind of a fireworks. Okay. And now in front of you, you have this black and white picture on the glass. And what I do, you can keep it if you want, but you have to understand that memory and all memories are going into the one mind, or the Akashic records, or whatever you want to call it, the library of memories. So you don't have to have it with you to carry with you all the time. You can always access it if you want to. So what I do is I go over and I tap that glass, boom, and it goes flying off the cliff, and it goes round and round and round and round and down to the bottom and breaks up. So when I told this to one fellow one time, he said, but do you know that glass lasts 1,000,000 years? I said, oh no. So I decided that down there below is a little machine that grinds up the glass into dust. So you have that glass dust down there. All right, so that's handled one issue. What I did was take a lot of issues. I put all the accidents together on panes of glass up along the cliff. I took relationships up there along the glass. Well, I might have done that several times because there were a lot of relationships in all these years. And then I put up there, you know, any kind of people taking my money or not being truthful or whatever. So you can put as many as you want up, or just do it over a series. You can start with accidents, okay? Or let's do it since Ronnie has some issues. We'll put relations up there, relationship. And there they are. So that was Joe, that was Sam, that was Larry, that was Fred. Okay. And you see them in glowing color, right? Now you take your rose, you put it there on the ground, and you let all that color drain in. Colors coming out, just like a beautiful rainbow coming out of that glass. And that rose is getting bigger and bigger. Bigger and bigger, depending upon how many glasses you have up there, it gets big. It can get as big as a mountain. Boom, it's right up there, really huge, and it's floating in the sky, and you see it going and going, and it blows up like Krakatoa, like a volcano, and all that color and all that emotion goes flying into the air, and then all these little roses come up, and they go pop, 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 and it's just a glorious blowing up of all that emotion that you no longer need to have in your body, your mind, and in your soul. And then you came back onto the cliff in your mind, standing there, and there's all that black and white, pictures, videos on the glass. And you go along and you go bang, 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 and you throw that stupid glass off the cliff, and it goes around and around and around and around and crashes down below. Your little truck or 3 or 4 of those little trucks come and start grinding that into sand. You look down, you say, yep, that is gone. That is gone. Take a deep breath. I have to tell you, that information, those stories are not in my mind. It has given me peace of mind. I mean, it's absolutely incredible. And if something comes up, if there's China is threatening to blow up Nancy Pelosi's plane, I get all upset. Put the damn thing on the glass in full color, drain it into the rose, blow up the rose, and throw that glass off the cliff, because I don't need to hold it in my body, in my emotions. What has happened on the earth since 1987 is we have vibrationally, the planet Earth has risen in vibrational frequency. Okay? It was just a 3-dimensional world with your emotions up above the physical. The mental, moving much faster, is above the emotions. Boom, 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 boom. So you would think a thought, it hit the emotions, and then eventually, and not too long, because it was getting faster and faster up until 87, it would hit the body, and you might get a stomach ache, you might get a headache, your shoulders tighten up, and that was how it worked. In 1987, we moved into the astral realm, which is the 4th dimension. That is the dimension of emotion, okay? And throughout, from 87 to 2012, it started moving faster and faster and faster. And as it got into 2012, we moved into the 5th dimension, which is the mental realm. Those who had done the kind of work that many of you have done, which is to delve deep into yourself, to realize that you're intuitive, that you connect with the spiritual, and that you can move beyond that mental realm and you go into meditation and you relax, have a much easier way of dealing with this incredible acceleration of energy, okay? So what's happened, that we moved into the astral realm, that means your physical body is vibrating at the level of emotions. If I get upset, I actually start feeling sick almost immediately. I feel shaky because that energy comes in and it is moving, man. It's really moving fast. So if you think a thought that is upsetting, it's going to affect you immediately. And I have a feeling, as part of what we're going through with all of this craziness, because there are a whole lot of people that haven't raised their consciousness beyond the emotional. And I understand that. So what helps me is to realize that what we're seeing in this insanity on the planet, where people are just acting wildly, is that they are losing themselves in this emotion. And they are caught, and they aren't going off into the higher realm of thinking, reasoning, coming up with what is necessary to have a more balanced life, or going beyond that into where they're able to get into a peaceful state and see the world as what I see it, a great big playhouse, like Shakespeare said. It's a playhouse where everyone can play their part. And it gives me a lot more ability to handle what's going on as I look out into the world, by knowing that indeed it is a playhouse and that this emotional pattern is really accelerating. So remember that you hold your lobes to go through it. You hear terrible things on the news, and you have experiences of people speeding by you at 100 miles an hour. And just, the freeways, I'm in California. To go to the freeway is unbelievable today. It's as if no one has any idea how to drive. They are going off cross 5 lanes to get off in front of all this traffic. And part of it, folks, is well, there's no police. There's no highway patrol out there. They've defunded the police. It's for those that think defunding the police is a good idea, just look at the fact that there are those people who are so caught up in the emotional realm and they have lost their minds. Okay, the mind isn't working. We have to, unfortunately, incarcerate those people because they're hurtful to the population. So anyway, is there any more time that I would talk, or you have some questions that you'd like to ask?
Let's just welcome Angelique for any questions and answers. I'm going to have my video off, and Angelique, you guys can just continue on and ask questions, and then I will.
Still recording?
No,